Our YouTube, Cook Racing here, bringing you another boat. This is the Impulse 31. I'm not sure what year it is. My boss was having problems with it, and I think it was throwing the propeller or not being locked in. I'm gonna check this out. The propeller, this is what he was explaining to me. So if you can see, there's like some slop in the drive dog there, a gap. I have to try to marry those up. It also has the bushing in there. I'll zoom in on that. But we're gonna try to get this slop out of there. Just touching on that side, but not on the other side, and not all the way in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a sharpen too on this. This is pretty dull. We're going to do some mods on this. So I just pulled the shaft out. I should have left it alone, but I like to be prepared when I walk into it. She's a little dusty. This was the cat's pajamas here in the beginning. It's a Dynamite Spectrum. It's got the lock in the top of it. You know, push it down, spin it, unlock it, which is pretty cool. It's better than my yellow boat. I looked at this thing, and as you can see, let's see if I can get a better shot over top. So the motor must have, you know, cocked itself the wrong way, because the shaft was, so if your motor's not perfectly lined up, you can lose some minutes on the water, and it creates friction, and also can put you in a bind. So let's see here, let's back it up. All right, so you see that kink in there? This thing is winding up and creating that kink from it being crooked. So the motor in the shaft, the flex shaft, have to be in line. See that? If it doesn't go directly into the coupler, then you just make a couple adjustments. I'm gonna make a couple adjustments here. Turns out, and then I'm gonna just try to straighten the engine or the motor. So it goes better, but it needs to be cocked over just a little bit more, and it needs, let's see, let's loosen this up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna take my pad, my Brillo pad, and I'm gonna get the surface rust off of this. Another thing too, when you run these boats, pull a flex shaft out of it so it doesn't gather moisture, and any moisture is inside of the brass tube that comes from here, that tube. You know, it can dissipate the water, the moisture. We're gonna give this thing a full clean. As you can see, that's just deposits from the grease in there, and we're gonna line up the motor. And this is the stock piping, cooling lines. We're gonna clean all that up, clean up this wires here. This is his, I mean, this has a little bit of slack in it, but we're gonna make this thing nice and cool. Look at that. So on this thing, it doesn't have a 90-degree nipple. It's a straight nipple. So that's, I mean, I was just thinking about that, and I'm gonna have to measure them to see what the cooling hole is on that. Is it a 4 mil, 3 mil? It looks like it could be a 4 or 6. And I'm gonna see if I got enough line to give them one Cook Racing upgrades. Another thing too, if you're watching this, please like and subscribe. If you're not going to subscribe, give me a like, a thumbs up, and ask me any questions. I also did a cooling on the Sonic Wave 36 yesterday by, if you watched the last video, but I'll say that for the next one. I mean, I was giving it full speed, 100% throttle at the big pond, and she never exceeded over 92 on the motor and 97 on the ESC, which I have a standalone transit. Each one of them have their own. So the only thing I don't like about this setup here is that the rudder is picking up and it's going into the motor, which the motor gets really hot, and then it's feeding the ESC, and then it's coming out here on this port right here, which is a small exit exhaust hole. Sorry, I'm trying to do this thing hands-free with my phone, so bear with me. I'm trying my best to figure out, if this thing is ready to run again. Another thing I wanted to address is the antenna. I think I'm gonna try to give him one of my tubes and possibly one of my shafts or one of my extra props. But I am going to give this thing an awesome sharp. I mean, this thing is dull. So we're going to put it on the balancer, see what happens, and I'll keep you guys updated. For all you Impulse 31s, I mean, this is pretty big boat. It's not as big as my 36, 31 inches, but it is a big boy. It is one of the big dogs. And the one thing I like about this 4-pole motor is, look at the KV on that. It's a 1750. Wow. So on 6S, this thing should be jumping to the moon. So we're gonna give him, he's got his own private lake. Thanks, Dave, for letting me be able to get my hands on this thing. We're gonna get to it, and like I said, like and subscribe, Cook Racing. Until next time, I'm going to go through it and I'll shoot another video on how it came out. We're going to clean it up, straighten it up, sharpen it up, do everything we can do here. All right, thank you.